You kind of touched on it a little bit in the last thing we were talking about, but can you talk about a time when being thankful or like having gratitude for the things that you have in life gave you a positive outlook on life, you know? And I think kind of what I mean by that is like you probably know, so I think you're ready to go off that. But yeah, like what does gratitude do? And what does gratitude overall does that have in your life?
So I'm gonna go way back, and I'm sorry, this might end up being long.
Please.
But so growing up, my parents have been separated for as long as I can remember, right? And so what that meant was spending time with two different parents, two different lives. My dad at the time was a lot more put together than my mum, and so he had the more stable, let's call it home life, right? Whereas my mum, she had to stay at the houses of other people at the time, and I would kind of follow. And from then, obviously, I had a bias to spending time with my dad just because it was nicer to be there. And I just remember one day, my mum picked me up, and it's crazy. I must have been like 4, 5, 6 at most. And my mum picks me up, and I'm saying, "Oh, can you take me to dad's house? Can you take me to dad's house?" And it was like I was finally going back to my mum. My mum's thinking, finally, I get to see my child. And that's the first thing I say to her when I get in the car. And then she just breaks down. And she breaks down saying to me, like, I can't remember what she said, but I remember the emotion. And as a child, again, 6? As a child, I realized, like, I learned metacognition, bro. Like, in that moment, like, consciousness developed. And I became so anxious about what people think about me, because in that moment, I realized that, man, my mum is sad that I want to be with my dad. And I didn't even consider before that moment what that means. So that happens, and I think that's where my kind of outlook on life started, even as a young child. And honestly, probably how I started to lean more into comedy, because like I'm usually always talking in a group. I'm always trying to make jokes. I hear a lot of comedians come out and say stuff like they have this need to make people laugh, and I kind of have that. I'm definitely not a comedian. I don't think I can write a joke.
You don't know that yet,
I don't know. I've never tried to write jokes. We'll see. Maybe that's the next step. But I've always liked to be funny, and I've always liked to make sure people are happy. And I think that's where the outlook started. And I understand the question is like, when have I felt grateful? And I'll get there.
No, take your time.
And so I was a chubby baby, always tall, but I was a chubby kid all through primary school, secondary school. I'm still a chubby baby, honestly. But around secondary school times, late secondary school, I started to thin out a bit. I was playing more sports. I'm an okay looking guy, so I was fine. Don't get me wrong, I didn't have girls or anything, but I felt good. But I was very, what's the word? Not selfish. Vain. I was very vain. And those thoughts I was having for other people kind of disappeared a bit. I was thinking about myself a lot more in that period. So I get with my ex at the time, and life is good. I'm enjoying it. And we go to uni. And then when I get to uni, stuff was happening with my dad, like heavy stuff. And again, for the whole time, I was still quite selfish. Like, how could he do this to me? I can't believe of all the times he would do this sort of stuff while I'm at uni, while I'm like deciding the fate of my life, whatever. So the uni's a struggle, but I get through it, whatever. Maybe some resentment to my family, like my dad, whatever. Come back from uni, and I'm like, okay, I've been studying for 21 years. Like, I need a break. I've been thinking what my career is. I wanted to be a therapist leading up all the way to uni. And I finished uni, and with everything that was happening with my dad, I was like, nah, I can't do this professionally. I can't listen to people's problems who don't want to fix them. I can't listen to those professionally non-stop as a career. Also, I didn't feel comfortable being a young psychologist. I think it's like futile. So what experiences do you have, Even if you've gone through horrible childhood, you haven't got, I'm sure there are rare cases, but I don't think typically you've gone through enough reflection and acceptance in your life until you're like our age, But so what am I rambling about? Instead of going into career jobs, I went into shit jobs. I avoided it the whole of uni because I was lucky enough to get a grant, as in like the loan grant, not like a Ivy League uni or something crazy.
Yeah.
I got a scholarship.
One of them white boys.
I got a scholarship to Harvard. Yeah, no, nothing like that. I just got the grant, so I get a little bit more money that I don't need to pay back, right? So I avoided shit jobs. Even during A levels, I avoided shit jobs. My ex at the time was working like fast food, and she said, "Look, if you need a job, do fast food. They'll take anyone on." Partly, I didn't want to do it because I was scared. If I work at a fast food joint, I'm going to put on so much fucking weight. That was partly the reason, but also an excuse. I just didn't want to work. So I come back from uni and I'm like, you know what? I want to live a little. Let's see what this working business is all about. And I get a job at Tottenham Hotspur, the new stadium. And I'm a casual worker, which means 0 hours contract. Only come in for work for match days. But then the stadium wasn't built. So when match days are at Wembley. So alright, work in a shop in Wembley. And bruv, my God, working in a football shop on match day with a bunch of people who aren't serious, in fairness, in Wembley, but like other colleagues who aren't serious. You know, there's people who work there who aren't serious and probably were stealing stuff. And some management management treats everyone like dickheads, because I'm sure there are a lot of dickheads. But that means that even me, like if I'm in the corner talking to someone for like a minute of my day, it's a huge problem, you know? So alright, I get the belt a little bit, whatever, alright, yeah, slap on the wrist, alright. And then fast forward now, I'm being a bitch to them because I want more shifts, because I want more money. But then they'll give shifts to other people who I don't think are working harder than me. And this is a retail job, bro. And I'm placing so much value on this retail job. I'm like, I can't believe it. I'm working so hard and he's giving a job to this person instead of me. Like, bro, like questioning my self-worth because of this job in Tottenham, you know. Like, what am I doing? Anyway, to my detriment or not, my hard work pays off and I become part of this team, let's call it, the Avengers. No. Okay. So I become part of this team and we're transporting all the shit from the warehouse in Wembley back to Tottenham Stadium because it's been a year now and the stadium's built. Boom, whatever. We're bringing everything to the shop. So I help them out. I pack the vans. We're going all through the underbelly of Wembley. You know, it's crazy. We're seeing like, I don't even know if I can talk about it, but we're seeing like the inventory of food stores. They're like Kingdom of Sweets, bro. Listen, all I'm saying is I'm never eating from them, man. But
it's crazy,
bruv. Listen, regardless.
Don't sue us, guys.
Yeah. I mean, I love Bimdom of Beats.
Cut
that one.
It's like an anime when they got like that.
Yeah. Cut that one. Cut that bit.
I don't know about that. I like it.
And so I get in good with them. They like how I worked. And then bless him, the guy turns to me and he goes, and listen, he's this person in general, I'm not going to talk about it today, but he went through hella shit at Tottenham as well. But he says to me, look, bro, you've been working well. I know there's some shifts in the warehouse and I know you wanted some more hours. I put your name forward to work in the Tottenham warehouse because Tottenham were in the Champions League final.
I remember.
And all the orders are up. Oh yeah, shit, it was with Liverpool, wasn't it? And orders are crazy. We need more man in the warehouse, right? And at the time I was like 0 hours contract, living wage. Because it's 0 hours you get 10% increase. So like I was, for my age at the time, for the work I was doing, like it was good. And this is where I'm finally getting to my point. I go to work for a month in this warehouse picking orders, basically. This is probably what Amazon warehouse workers every day of their fucking lives, right? And so I go there and there's like these, they're Eastern European. I'm not sure if they were like Romanian, but I don't know. I don't even want to start naming things and sound ignorant, but they're Eastern European and they've been there like years, like 7 years they've been in this warehouse. That's all they've known. That's all they've done. I was there for a month, bro, and my body was shattered. I bought a back brace to like keep my posture good. I bought knee braces because bro, it was fucking bad.
Because you're standing up all day.
You're standing up and walking all day. You're reaching for things. You're opening boxes, which sounds so nothing.
But that's what makes it because it's monotonous.
No, honestly, that aside, bro, it's demanding on your body. Like I had the 3 hour walk. Like jokes aside, on my birthday, I had a 3 hour walk on my birthday and I was shattered. 3 hours. Imagine doing that 8 hours. With a lunch break, sure, but you're literally just 9 to 5 or 4, wherever it was at the time, I can't remember, just picking orders. And this isn't a knock, like, that's the job, sure, but I worked that job and I fucking realised, man, like, I am good. Whatever job I have, if it's not in a warehouse, or even if it is in a warehouse, you're like a warehouse operative or whatever, or like admin or something, whatever. But people, and that's not even a worse job you can get. There's probably worse jobs than that. And bro, and in that moment, I just realised, like, I used to think I went through hard stuff in life, but I am in a position where I don't need a job like that. And I realised, like, holy shit, man, I'm so grateful for whatever the broken relationship between my mum and dad was, whatever my dad's new partner was saying, and like, jokes aside about his cynicism and all the hardships during uni, you know, it was just, I realised in that moment, like, man, I have no enemies.
Yeah.
I have no enemies.
I love the callback. I love how you spun it. That's beautiful. Yeah.
But genuinely, like, in that moment, you know, working in that warehouse, and I had a bit of a bittersweet moment with that, because I told my dad about it, and I was just trying to start up a conversation with him. And I said, yeah, I've just been working in this warehouse for a month. Honestly, it's really opened my eyes. And he kind of did a thing where I genuinely thought he was joking. He like kind of turned around and went, oh, you know, my son working in a warehouse. And it was just this moment where he was like disappointed in me or something. And I just remember thinking, and again, I'm not going to go into the detail of what he was doing during uni, but fuckeries, bro. Fuckeries. And I just remember thinking, like, man, certain people will be a terrible person, but then still pass judgment and make you feel so small, regardless, you know.
You still care about their opinion.
And in that moment, I stopped. Literally in that moment, I realised, like, oh, I don't care about this person's opinion. Like, my dad, I love him, you know, he's an incredible person, he's an artist, whatever. But I just realised in that moment, like, yeah, I don't care. If you don't see the value that I saw that helped me get through this, that probably explains why you're in this situation at the moment, you know?
Absolutely.
In general, yeah, I think that's when I really felt like gratitude in my life.
That's beautiful, man. Thank you so much. And like you say, you're going on this, but you paint this amazing story, and it was important that you start from the beginning. I think it gives people perspective on exactly where the journey led to. And even to answer my own question, I think I started become. So obviously, I'm from Ghana, and I was born there, but I came here very little. I came here when I was like 4 years old. Sure. And so for the longest time, we never went back. And, you know, I think what tends to happen in immigrant families is that when they come to a new country, they want to acclimatize to that country. So they try to forget where they came from to not stand out here. So a lot of that was pushed on by my mom. So when I growing up, I didn't really understand my own culture. But then when I got to an age, I was like 18 or 19, I was like, I want to try to understand my own culture. So I've been back a couple of times, and just going back gave me so much perspective. And I was becoming kind of spoiled in terms of like, I was like, oh, everyone I know has this. And when I know all my friends got the new iPhone and a new PlayStation, and I don't have anything, and like, what's wrong with our family and all these things, and I want more money. And I take a step back and realize, like, you have so much. You just need to change your base rate of what you compare it to.
I'm so sorry, bro. I'm hogging everything. But that's actually so true, because obviously I'm Italian, whatever. I was born in London. I probably feel more British than I do Italian, maybe. But I visited family in Italy a lot. And it's so interesting you say that, because I felt the exact same thing. And not about tech stuff, because obviously Italy, well, to be fair, Italy's a shithole, unfortunately, at some points. But like, I can understand if like the quality of life is different in Italy than in Ghana. Like, I'm not trying to say it's similar. But the thing that I felt more guilty of was my open mindset that my family, a lot of really lack. And it's like you're saying, oh, it's such a shame they don't have the, you know, they don't have the tech I have, they don't have the money I have, the toys, games, whatever. For me, I was thinking, bro, I feel so sorry for these people, because they just have this one view on life that is so fucking ignorant. And it's not even just racism. Like, there is that to an extent, but it's like with Italians, and maybe this is just European countries in general, obviously a lot of them will be like, oh, the immigrants come here, we don't even have jobs for ourselves, why do they come here? But Italians also just hate themselves and hate each other. Yeah. You know, like I remember another job that I worked at, there was an Italian guy, and he's telling me, I remember I literally went to a government building to get a document, a very important document, and they couldn't print it for me because the employees steal the ink for their printers at home.
Holy shit.
Because obviously they think, oh, I'm not buying my own fucking ink. They provide it to me. Why do I need to buy ink when I can get it from work? And so what happens? The country doesn't fucking run because you can't print people's documents because there's no fucking ink in the office. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's like, I'm looking at my cousins and I'm seeing how they're growing up, and I hear the opinions they have. You know, like one of my cousins was very like Islamophobic, and then I was like, I mean, there's a lot of hate in a lot of religions, bro. Like, whatever you want to say about extremist Muslims, you could say about extremist like Christians in America. Like, bro, let's not even talk about Middle America, you know. And it was like, ah, man, but it's different. And then as soon as he said that, I realized like it's futile at that point, because whether Muslims are like brown or white, whatever, just the thought of this ideology that is different and there are extremist versions of it, I don't agree with it. Bruv, I was thrown out. I was like, bruv, all this shit you hear about Catholics and children, like, what are you with the Vatican in your own backyard? He was like, oh, but it's different, you know. And it was like, but I felt in that moment, not to say I'm high and mighty and I know better, whatever, but at the same time, I do feel that I think knowledge and intelligence are two different things. You know, knowledge is like an accumulation of things that you know. But then intelligence is like how you apply the things that you know, or how you speak to people, how you interpret emotions, your body language, you know. And so look, they can be very knowledgeable. They can be very knowledgeable about food. They can be very knowledgeable about like what tastes good, what tastes bad, whatever. You know, I think they're a bit pompous with that. But then with intelligence, I'm just like, is this what you want from life? Like, is this all you want from the beautiful culture that Italy has? And it's like, this is what we want to fight about, you know? Like, it's crazy to me. Anyway, sorry, you hit it bang on the head when you go back home. And it's like, what is worth? What's valuable?
It's amazing that you were able to finish off my point, even though we come from completely. Because that's literally what I was going to say.
Sorry.
It's like no. I mean, like I'm giving it. I'm pointing it out because I would have said it differently, obviously. But like the fact that you got exactly what I was trying to say means that it's such a prevalent thing that happens. Because absolutely, one thing I noticed is that, okay, I have so much, but they are so closed mentally. Like, they're so regiment towards like what they think or what they've thought, that there's no way to kind of build that. And they're like, the community is always like, everyone's looking at you to make sure you act right. And I'm like, okay, like the benefits of the community is also also the weaknesses, because yes, they're kind of insulated from the outside world, and that kind of brings them close together, but they're also insulated from the outside world. So like, they don't understand certain different thought patterns or certain cultures.
In like mental health and ideologies, you know, all of those things.